Good and welcome back to Just a Minute, Just a Mishnah. This is Mishnah Sele Nishmas, Fredele Basracham, the Schusse Velivitzak Ben Gila, and the Frost, Bas Dirvish, the Full Shlema. So Mesachas Gittin, Parak Test, Mishnah Dal, the Mishnah Hey, Shlesha Gittin Psulin. So there's three cases here where the get is Posel Midirabanan, but it still works, but the Eved. V'im Nises Havlad Kasher, so then if she gets remarried after she's accepted this get, so the child isn't a mamzer, he's a perfectly normal child. Kasher B'chsav Yadai, so the first case that the husband wrote the get, V'inol Av Edim, and there's no Edim on the get. That's the first case. The second case is that the husband still wrote it, B'yeshel Av Edim, there are witnesses written on it, V'im B'zman, but it doesn't have the date written on it. That's the second case. The third case is that the husband still wrote it, Yesh B'zman, and the date's written on it, but there's only one witness who signed it. So in all these three cases, the get doesn't work. But if she did use it and got remarried, so then it's okay. Reb Lazar says that even lechatchila, that at the beginning, even if there's no edim written on it, as long as there were edim who saw him give her the get, it's completely fine. And he can give it to even the lechatchila. It's not b'di'evet whatsoever. He's allowed to do that. The goyva menachosem mishobadim. And now, if we have a case where we have someone who lent money and he wrote the document of the loan in this way, so there weren't any edim who signed it, but there were edim which saw him hand it over. So then, in that case, he can the person who lent the money, he can then go and take from a piece from Chasim Shoban, which we discussed previously, which is a piece of land which has already been handed off to someone else. He can go and take it. Because the only reason we discussed this previously when we were talking about Tikkun Olam, the only reason why Edim sign on the get is because of Tikkun Olam, in case the Edim who saw the get being given over die. Mishnah Hey, Shnaim Shichalchu Shnei Gittin Shalvin. We have a case here where a messenger brought two Gittin from two people with the exact same names, them and their wives have the exact same names, V'nisarvu, and they got mixed up. Nice and Shneim Lazu. He has to give each of the wives both Gittin. Lefikach Avad Echad Mihen Harei Sheni Bata. So obviously, then if one of them gets lost, then the other one doesn't work, and neither of the wives can be divorced. Now we have a case where five people wrote a get together on one piece of parchment. Each pliny megarish plines, so pliny megarish is pliny plines, and they wrote on the list, this person's divorcing this woman, this man's divorcing this woman, and then they wrote the date, then they wrote that, then they wrote all the witnesses at the bottom. So it's perfectly fine, and we give the get to each woman separately. But if the gittim were written separately, meaning they said, so and so is divorcing his wife so and so, and then the date, and then the date, and then that, then the date and the next person, and then the date and the next person, and so on and so forth. So then and then they wrote the witnesses signed at the bottom, so only the last person on the list that they get is kasher, Gitvach, and those are today's Mishnayos.